week, the Obama administration rejected the Keystone XL pipeline finally. There had been a lot of rumors that this was going to occur. In fact, there was an article in Scientific American that was arguing why the Keystone XL project was in fact dead. Just prior to this happening. And the reason why they were writing that article is because TransCanada, which is the company that is trying to get the project done, was requesting a suspension of the review that was going on for the project in the State Department. And one of the big reasons why they were rejecting it or were trying to get a suspension of it was because there are a lot of problems with getting it into Nebraska. Some of those problems stemming from the environmental concerns, a lot of those problems stemming from the fact that they're threatening use of eminent domain on private citizens and that sort of thing. And also there might be a little bit of a problem with the fact that some of the oil from or the tar sands from Canada is currently being shipped by rail, and a lot of those companies are located in Nebraska, so there's that problem too. And also they were trying to maybe head off the fact that Obama was going to reject this. So they wanted to try to get it suspended. So I'm just going to scroll through this article. So some of the things Obama had to say about this, I tend to agree with. He said the pipeline would not make a meaningful long-term contribution to our economy. He also said the pipeline would neither be a silver bullet for the economy, as was promised by some, nor the express lane to climate disaster proclaimed by others. I agree with that also, and the reason why I agree with that is, yes, it's a concern, and this administration is showing that concern that this could contribute even more to global warming, because we're trying to get these tar sands out to the global market, and once you do that, then the floodgates open and all this stuff is going all over the world. Right now we're shipping in a lot of it, so some of that is hypocritical in a way, because we're saying, oh, we're rejecting this because we're concerned about climate change, yet at the same time we're processing hundreds of thousands of barrels of oil a day that is the tar sands. And it's much more CO2 intensive, as I pointed out in previous videos, and that's the reason why it's a concern. And he's right in that it's not going to be a boon for the economy. It's not going to create that many jobs. It'll create some temporary jobs. It'll create a few thousand temporary direct and indirect jobs through the construction process. There'll be a little bit of an infiltration into the various states' economies and that sort of thing. But the overall long term is just a few permanent jobs, a handful of permanent jobs. So that is not exactly something to get excited about, in my opinion. So there's a lot of reaction to this, as you might imagine, from all sides. I'm going to scroll through a little more here. So of course, Canada. The Canadian government is not all that happy about this, and of course TransCanada is making statements about what they plan on doing going forward. I would think that they're just going to wait for the next administration and then try to put forth a new project that is entirely a new name and all that. They're not going to bring out the name again. They'll try to get, they'll hope for a Republican administration, which is sure to be more friendly to the dirty tar sands. I don't think that this is, this is just this monumental moment that a lot of the environmentalists are saying. It's poignant in the sense that I was surprised by this. I was surprised that our president rejected this. I wasn't really surprised when it happened because there was, for about a year, there's been, rumors going around that, yeah, this administration is going to reject this thing. But I found it ultimately I found it surprising. And you can go back to a previous video I'd done, I think it was Oil Truth 3, where I predicted that the Obama administration would approve the project. And I was wrong. Happy to say I was wrong. I was at that time ambivalent about the entire thing because I felt like it doesn't really matter. We've already got pipelines going everywhere, but we're already, in big trouble with the climate and everything. I kind of have a pessimistic view. But now I'm getting a little more optimistic, and I'm thinking that maybe this is the right decision. And I think one of the reasons why this was done was to show leadership. And now the United States can go into these climate talks coming up and say, look, here's what we've done. It's not like it's still hanging up in the air. Hey, we rejected this thing that could potentially contribute even more CO2 into the atmosphere. So even though it's not that consequential, I think it is consequential. It's not this earth-shattering consequential thing that a lot of people make it out to be, in my opinion. But I do think it's a good move. Ultimately, I've changed my mind on that point. And I had a lot of people coming at me in my original Keystone XL video, that were just making the most of the time it was like they didn't even watch the video. They were just making the same points that the video refuted over again without addressing what the video said. But they were coming at me as if I was arguing for the rejection of it. And what I was really doing in the video was showing how these forces, these forces within our economy and within our political system act out in the public domain. So you had these politicians saying word for word, verbatim, what was being said in commercials for TransCanada, and this entity that is interested economically in this situation, and they were cheerleaders for it, essentially, and it was just propaganda. So that was what the video was about. But it turns out I kind of come around as being not in favor of the Keystone XL. And one of the reasons why is because the whole eminent domain thing really does bother me, and I don't like the fact that this foreign agency, this foreign company is telling other people, hey, we're going to use your property and we're going to we'll use eminent domain if we have to. So you're screwed, buddy. We're coming in, we're taking it, we're a foreign entity, but we can do that because your laws are screwed. That's one of the reasons why I'm against it. So I just think it's overall a bad deal for the United States. It has nothing to do with the United States and energy security. So anyone that tells you that is full of shit. They don't know what they're talking about. It's completely about getting the tar sands out to the world market and being able to compete in the world market. And so that would actually, if anything, it would, people argue, well, it's probably not going to have an effect on prices. It could bring prices up regionally in Midwest and that sort of thing. But the fact that they're going to be fetching higher prices. So the extra oil on the world market it's not going to, there's going to be a counterbalance there. So, and as you can tell, I did not script this video at all. I just turned on the mic and started rambling, so forgive me for that. But I just thought I would comment on this. And yes, I think I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say that I agree with this decision. I'm surprised by it. Ultimately, I was very cynical about this whole thing. I'm getting a little less cynical about climate change, even though there's still a huge push to try to convince people that it's not a problem. I think more and more people are starting to recognize that it is a problem, whether it be because of things like Hurricane Sandy or what have you. We had some anomalous weather events in recent years. I don't know if that's the reason, or if it's just because the scientific message is getting stronger. People don't normally react to things until it's hitting them in the face. And that's the unfortunate thing about something like climate change, which is something that's largely in the future. And so someone could somewhat reasonably state that, well, we don't really know what's going to happen in the future. It might not be a problem at all. Well, okay, but that's taking a risk. And I don't think you play around with the only planet that we have. So I'll try to make some future videos about that, and I'm just going to cut this one short, but I just wanted to make a quick commentary on the Keystone XL and the finality of it. I don't think we might be hearing, another project come out. I don't think it's going to be called the Keystone XL. I could be wrong, but obviously I was wrong in my other predictions about the Keystone XL. So, anyway, thanks for listening.